Happy Friday, my loves. Oh my gosh, it's been a hot minute since I've gone live, and I'm so excited to be back here in live energy. I'm going to make sure that I am indeed live in my Facebook group and on YouTube. I'm trusting that I am live. But if you come,
Excited to be back here and live.
you know what's so funny?
energy.
What I don't understand is that the volume's totally down. So I don't know how that came up. Anyway, okay, so let's get to this. So as you hop on, please say hello. If you watch the replay, please let me know, #replay. So if you don't know by now, my name is Vanessa Ann Miller, and I help women entrepreneurs grow their businesses. I use mindset techniques so that they can get out of their own heads and really assess what is going on in their business so they can make clear decisions. Some of the modalities that I use are human design, specifically the gene keys within human design, and neurolinguistic programming, NLP. And so when I think about how I marry those two together, I use the human design or the gene keys portion of someone's personalized chart to help them understand some of, or even confirm some of the things that they're questioning about their business, about their life. Hello, who is there? Okay, if you're, I would love it to be able to see your name, but right now I can't see. I only see Facebook user because StreamYard, for some reason, it only allows me to see the names in the comments within StreamYard dashboard if you've given them permission to share your name. So thank you for the hearts. I appreciate you being here. Just wanted to let you know I can't address you by name. You'll see me later. Oh, that must be Carolyn. I have a feeling that's Carolyn. All right, so let's talk about this. There is a specific, let me back up again. So the NLP part, when it comes to I think of it as a path. So the human design is going to basically light up a path. It's going to confirm that things that you've been questioning about your business or career. Maybe you're transitioning from a career into a business, and what ends up happening is that kind of just it lights up that path. So you no, this is where I'm going. I am right. Those nudges I've been feeling, they are correct. And then when I bring in the NLP, what that essentially is it helps you on your journey, because as you go through entrepreneurship and in life, you'll see that there's ups and downs. There's obstacles. There are things that just come in and, will try to test you or distract you. And so with the NLP, what I do is I help women use the techniques within NLP to really manage their state so they can feel good. And that's where the more clarity comes. But it also helps with just getting through those blocks that might hold us back. So all those mindset, all that head chatter that might come in, the self-doubt and uncertainty. So I love to marry those two together. And so I do human design, or I do prosperity sequence readings. I call them prosperity sequence because it's all about the prosperity in your life and how to attain it. And sometimes we question, is this the right path or me? And we pivot a lot. We listen to all these other things that people are saying instead of really going within and trusting our intuition. And so one of the gates within human design that is relating to how you receive money, how you make money, which in our world is our vocation. So whether that's our career or the type of business we have, and that specific gate is your unconscious Mars. And so I'm going to go through that and a little bit detail. I'm going to show you on your chart. So if you love human design, let me know in the comments what your type is, what you know about it, if you know your profile and all that, because this is going to get really interesting. Most people will know, for me, I'm a 5-2 generator. So most people know I'm a 5-2, I'm a 5-2 generator with, a specific authority. But then there's actual more stuff. It gets really granular. It gets really detailed as you go through. And so, oh, you're just digging into your profile. Oh my gosh, it's all so freaking amazing. So I'm going to share really quickly my chart. I'm going to share my whole insides. No, I'm joking. I feel like it's you see the energy, the way someone processes information. So I'm going to try to make it bigger for you. Okay, so here we go. So when you're looking at your chart, what you want to look at is right here, your unconscious Mars. So this 40.1, that's my chart. And so that specific gate is about exhaustion. It's about moving through exhaustion and moving into my gift. And you see, when you look at your chart, most people are saying, I'm a generator 5, 2. Those are the profile lines that people usually look at. But with the prosperity sequence, you look at the profile line that's with your unconscious Mars. Now, those things are different from what you normally can assume with the profile lines for the unconscious sun and the conscious sun. So with my profile line 5, people tend to say, one of the things is that, I'm projected on. People, project onto me. And then there's like that 2 where I'm kind of like, just kind of like, I would say, like, how do I best describe it? Let me show you this really quickly, because I don't want to go by the typical things that you hear, but it's really how I live it. You know what I mean? Okay. So my 2 is like definitely my projection. I'm sorry. My 2 is my projection. And then the 5 in me is, and I feel like that's part of the projection too, is that people project things onto me. The combination of the things that they project onto me is that I have all the answers. I'm the leader, and then sometimes it puts pressure on me. So the line in your unconscious Mars is going to be a little bit different. It's going to correlate to different things. And so if you have your chart open and you want to look at what your unconscious Mars is and drop the gate in, I can give you an example, a little bit, more details for your specific chart. So for my chart, my unconscious Mars, again, is that 40. And what that means is that when I'm in my shadow of my gate, which is exhaustion, I am blocking money from me. So if I'm worn out physically, mentally, any of those things, then I am blocking the money flowing to me, or the ideas about money flowing to me, or I'm unable to actually do the things required of me to be in alignment and attract the right clients, right? And so other people have different shadows that they must deal with. Now, I'm going to pick out a random number from the book. In fact, if you want to drop a number in, even if you don't even know your Mars, but I'm just going to show you how beautiful this works to understand what's holding you back for the specific gate of yours. Okay. Again, your number is going to be completely different. Maybe it's the same. I don't know. But let me see here. Let's look at... Oh, you know what? I actually did a reading for someone. So I do these prosperity readings for people so they can get really just that confirmation. And so one of the ones I have highlighted is the 18th gene key, and that's the healing power of the mind. And so for the shadow of the 18th gene key, it's about judgment. It's about the victim mind. And so for that specific person that has that 18 in their unconscious Mars, they can tend to be stuck in their own judgment. They can be judging themselves and then judging others. And so what that does is that it pushes them away. Like it creates a separation between those people that they could collaborate with or their clients. They start to judge. And usually it starts with like self-judgment. And being in that shadow, it really does keep you from being in an empowered state. And so when I bring the NLP in, I could totally relate this to the success formula of NLP, being at cause or effect. So when someone else is judging someone or judging themselves, they're putting themselves at effect, and they're unable to step into their power so they can attract the money that they desire, or they can have the business that they desire, or their career. And so then once they can shine light of and they can identify oh, this is what usually happens when I'm out of alignment. So for me, I'm I'm exhausted. Oh, that means I'm out of alignment. So what do I have to do? What is my self-care regimen? How do I get myself into my gift? And so that's the next part. So once you have this awareness of what that shadow is and how to overcome it, and then how to predict when it's coming along, because you increase your awareness. I imagine awareness kind of like this. It starts little and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, so that you can kind of like headlights. It starts to you could start seeing a lot further ahead of you. Before, it was kind of like you could only see right here because the awareness is expanding. And so what happens if you can see a lot further ahead of you as you're driving, then you can start, not slamming on the brakes, but you could start pushing on the brakes versus slamming on the brakes, right? Like when you're like, oh, this is it, you're up against a wall. So the next thing is that within each of the gate, you have a shadow, you have a gift, and then you have the city. So for my gift in this gate is the lost art of doing nothing. So resolve. And what I love about this is that it fits perfectly into what I do, what I teach women when it comes to their business. And here's another thing. If you're a coach, if you're a consultant, or maybe you're thinking about pivoting, when you can embrace these things, this specific sphere within your prosperity sequence, and you can understand how to navigate your shadow and get into your gift, you naturally embody these things. And so you are now an authority, a leader that can show other women how to navigate these same things that you've been able to go through. And so before I even knew about my own prosperity sequence, about this, I was already like gravitating towards that. I was already positioning and shifting my business towards the balanced work week with the goddess day, with the CEO day, and the doer day. And so all of this was like just confirmation, even for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is why this feels so much better. This is why I'm so much more lit up. And when I'm lit up and you're lit up by your business, when we're all like doing our the things that bring our passion out, we're passionate about, and we're in our zone of genius, then we perform better, we do better, we attract more quality things in our life, including, the right people into our lives. And so getting into that gift and being in that gift as long as possible. So let's go to that 18, the 18 shadow here. And so when you have the 18th shadow and you move out of the shadow and into the gift, you're going to be moving into integrity. And so when I think about being in integrity, it's like no longer judging or being outside of yourself, or, from, separate from other people, but you're like living with what you're honoring yourself. You're focused on, this is how I view things, and this is where I'm going to commit to it. Versus all the other things that come into the judgment part. I feel like when you judge someone, it's a lower vibration, it's a lower frequency, and it's like, it's worrying about other people versus worrying about yourself. And I believe whenever you're in integrity, you can just focus on yourself. And so now here's the next part. And so I hope that you can, drop your profile line for this unconscious Mars, because there's even a deeper thing to this. So let me bring up this really quickly. How do I stop share? So there is that line there, and that line tells what, let me bring it up. So this line right here, that 4.1 for me, what it says is that I'm like the producer of, let me bring it bigger. I am the producer of ideas. And so I used to I love marketing, and I used to feel like I had to be the marketer. I had to be the person that was the expert in this, because that's actually part of my profile line, my unconscious sun and my conscious sun, right? And I felt like there was a little bit of force there. And so that force would lead to exhaustion. And then there was a part of me that was a creator of ideas, and people would come to me for strategy. They're like, oh, how do I make this work? And I'd connect all the dots and be like, okay, this is the best thing for you. Or how about this, and try this? And, they're like, oh my gosh, now this feels so much better for me. And so what I realized was that in my unconscious Mars, along with that exhaustion, I am the producer of these ideas, of these things to help women get out of their own exhaustion. And so, if you're growing a business that you're having a lot of resistance, or you're not enjoying the process, or you just kind of do some self-sabotaging things, and you don't want to do the things required, then it's like, let's look at the way that the business is created, the way it's structured. Now, If you have a 2 line, then you're going to be the marketer. So teaming up with someone like me who creates the offer and then you go out and market it, that's a beautiful collaboration there. And I want you to be mindful of these different lines so that as you are thinking about who to collaborate with or who to bring onto your team, you know your strengths and you know their strengths. And so if you have a 3 line, you're about the strategy. So you can come up with maybe I do the idea, I have the idea, but then you actually come up with a strategy how to make that idea work, right? And then if you have a four line in your unconscious Mars, then you're the salesperson. You're the one that just a natural salesperson that you just talk about it and people will buy from you. And then the 5th line, line 5, you're the management of it. So here they say that you're the promoter of it. To me, I feel like that's a lot like the marketer, but the management person could be like the person that takes it to the next level, that manages the process of it going from creation to the market. And then the 6th line is the philanthropy. That's the investor. And so this person could be the person finding the people to fund the project, or finding ways to get it into more people's hands, like or how it's going to serve the world or the community, or however this specific offer impacts other people. And so if you're feeling that there's something missing in my business, or there's just something that is just not aligning to how I want things to be, and I know like this offer is great, but where can I shine in my strengths, and how can I delegate my weaknesses, and how do I identify what those weaknesses are? Like I feel like they're weaknesses, but I don't want to admit to them. It just really does provide some clarity for you. Now, this is just one part of the sequence. The Pearl sequence, which I call prosperity sequence, has 4 different spheres in it. And I'm going to show you what that looks like really quickly. But when you bring them all together, let me see, entire screen. Hold on one second. So when you bring them all together, what happens is that you then can understand, okay, this is the path for me. This is my offer, or this is my career or my line of business that I should be in, right? And then it's like, okay, well, now that I know these things, like this is the thing that is going to make me my money. This is like how the gift I need to be able to bring to the world so that I can be able to, have more prosperity, have more money, and not just prosperity as in money, but prosperity in all the sense, right? Then you look at your culture. Then you're looking at, okay, what is the gate in here? Like, what are the shadows that are going to keep me from finding the people that are going to help me bring this to market, or help me in my career? Who are going to be the team members? And so the culture is going to be not only people, but the environment. And then you want to look at your brand. So each of these is going to have one of those gates that I told you with a profile, but they're all going to be different gates. And so then you want to look at your brand. You're like, okay, what is the look going to be like? What is it? What is the mood, the sound? What is all of that? How is this going to be packaged up? So for people to be able to understand it, for it to catch people's eyes, and so people could be interested in learning more, so I can be able to sell this thing, right? And then the Pearl sequence goes, it kind of ties it all in together in more depth, so that all of this, it's a holistic approach to the way you create prosperity in your life. So there is so much more that I could, share with that, but here we are in 19 minutes in, and I want to invite you that if you want to be able to know this for yourself, I have a couple options for you. You can either delegate all of this to me. You share your chart with me, and I can have a whole blueprint, a reading and a blueprint for you that goes through your specific chart and says, okay, these are the areas of your strengths. This is what it's saying in your chart for you to be able to have the success that you desire in your business. And these are the people, all that, right? Or you can join me for one of my upcoming workshops where I do all of this with you, where you it's like a kind of like a co-working session, right? You bring your stuff in, I have some recommended reading, and then you pull your chart together. So I will drop the links in case you want to be able to do one of those and join me for the workshop, or just let me do it. I swear, this is like, I love doing this because it's like, it's mind blowing on how a lot of these things are just confirmation. And especially for the people that I know, I'm like, oh my gosh, I see this in this person. I get this. And when I speak to people, when I'm like, behind the scenes writing their stuff and I'm asking them questions, they're like, yes, yes. And so, if you're really wanting 2023 to, be a different year where you have more ease and you just kind of feel like you have the easy path, the easy street, then I highly suggest looking into your prosperity sequence. All right. Chat with you soon. Bye-bye.